everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 Kaiserreich and South Africa. Let's continue on from where we last left off. So, we're currently trying to end all past losses. It's going to give us some more penalties for right now, but eventually that is going to, hopefully kind of reverse itself and be alright. We'll see. When we diversify higher education, we'll be getting an extra research slot, which is nice for us. And eventually we are going to want to curtail reactionary activity soon as well, because we've got a lot of problems in the country at the moment. We definitely will never need chromium. It's just never going to happen. Aluminum, on the other hand, we want to go to trade. It might. We don't have any aluminum. So you know what? Getting the aluminum makes a little bit of sense. So let us get 5. You know what? 5's a decent amount. We can use that for some aircraft or stuff like that. Portugal. If you can somehow fight off MittelAfrika, I would appreciate that, but I really don't have high hopes there. The population influx in the urban areas. The new South Africa does not endorse the old racist measures employed by the old racist capitalist regime, which has been frantically trying to keep black South Africans out of South African urban regions like Johannesburg and Cape Town. Now that this regime has fallen, their barbaric policies are naturally being rescinded. Unfortunately, this brings some unintended side effects with it. Rural South Africa is not very rich in opportunity, and thus, with the possibility of moving to cities like Johannesburg, Cape Town, and Durban, suddenly no longer severely restricted, many thousands of South Africans are now leaving their ancestral lands to seek employment in the cities, in the factories, and the mines. Unfortunately, local governments do not actually have the resources to handle this unprecedented influx, and most of these migrants are thus being forced to settle in existing townships at a scale never seen before, overpopulating them and causing extreme salad conditions and disease in the townships as a result. So, it's another penalty for us, which is not great. Stability's not looking fantastic right now. War support's not that high, but that's okay. Kind of. Could be better. Could be worse, though. You gotta look at it that way, too. Portugal did just get cut in half, so good work there for you guys. You have 180 days until you're ready to go. The Russian state is making moves. I'm worried that MittelAfrika at some point is just going to completely come down and steamroll into us. Like, we still have about a year and a half-ish, a year and a half, 2 years, until the Second Weltkrieg actually begins, and we kind of want to get involved in that action. But of course, with massive presence from the Reichspakt and the Entente, there are some problems that could quickly arise for sure. Flanders has capitulated. Not a major surprise there, I would say. Anyways. Why did I feel like Iran just had a syndicalist government? Am I wrong on that? I might not be wrong. I don't know. But either way, because we're missing 1 aluminum. And when will we be done? We'll be done in 33 days. Will give us another 3 factories, which will be nice. Portugal, no matter what, I'm pretty sure they're going to join the Entente, which is not great for us, of course. So we're going to have to pick and choose our battles very carefully when the time comes. Because we're going to be on a continent absolutely filled to the brim with people who hate us. There's no doubt about that. Negotiate license. We can't request a lend-lease because we're not at war. I'm hoping that once we actually are at war, the French, the British, the Italians, whoever, are going to hopefully send us some rifles, which we do desperately, desperately need. And you know what? We'll actually not crank up to... We'll go up to like 4 divisions here. Seems okay. Our effective manpower is now significantly higher because we're no longer having a negative 50% penalty for the racial segregation penalties, which is nice for us. Upgrade housing condition township seems like something that we want to do now that we have a massive debuff to that. We have the military purge, we have township formation. And we have lower participation as well, and we have the reactionary non-cooperation. We have a lot of problems right now in South Africa, which we should hopefully be able to resolve in due time. Again, we do need about 19 divisions, roughly, I believe, in order to get all these guys where we want them to be. Yeah, you're declaring the guys down in the south. So the Qing are actually going to be able to unify China relatively early, I believe. Mac League's actually also destroying Mongolia and Tibet, which I think might be the first time I've ever actually seen them accomplish such a impressive feat. Yeah, that's the amount of rifles we need. 5.3 thousand. The SRI has declared war on legionary Italy, because they're still also at war with... They're also at war with the Italians, or with the Austrians. You're really just at war with everybody at this point. But yeah, legionary Italy absolutely stands no chance of winning their war here. Because they're now fighting a war on, like, all their fronts. They're completely surrounded. So hopefully the Socialists can take over this territory. We'll, fingers crossed on that one. And once again, you've been cut off from supply, so... Wouldn't be surprised if this gets completely steamrolled. You guys are fighting against Turkestan. All those things make a perfect amount of sense. So we do want a strong Russia, because they will be a good counterbalance to the power of Germany here. And do we have any information about you? Still 8 to 27. I wouldn't mind creating an agency here. Purely... It's gonna take 30 days, that's fine. Just to maybe get some information about what's happening in MittelAfrika, because we can, like, maybe get them to capitulate. I mean, that would be nice, of course. We kill you guys, and, you know, our job becomes substantially easier in the future. Because you are still... I mean, you're social democratic right now. But I believe, even if you're social democratic, you should be syndicalist-aligned social democratic. I think. Because you're still the Revolutionary Committee. So we'll kind of see where you guys go. If you end up joining the Internationale, I would be grateful for that, of course. Oh, something else that just happened. I'm not too sure what. The people declaring war on the Ottoman Empire. Not a major surprise there. You're going to be in a major conflict. We'll kind of see how you guys deal with that yourself. We have 22 days. And of course, we have absolutely no counterintelligence in Pretoria, which is not a huge surprise. Portugal's actually holding on to these areas well enough. So I wouldn't be surprised, I guess, if Portugal can keep a decent amount of this territory going. So what do we want to research next? Well, what do we actually have in our templates here? We have engineers and support artillery. So we want to probably be upgrading those guys next. Engineers at 1939, we don't want to go for you then. We're going to go for the 1936 interwar artillery units, which will be nice for us. And you have to declare war in Venice. The question about the war with Venice, though. Okay, Venice is not part of the Austrian faction, so you will probably be able to annex all that territory pretty easily yourself as well. So that kind of might have some problems depending on how Austria feels about the whole war. The Ostrabagdwag. The Ostrabagdwag, a militant Afrikaner cultural organization established in commemoration with the centennial anniversary of the Great Tech by former Johannes van Rensburg, the former administrator of the Orange Free State. The meaning of the name Oxwagon Sentinel, referring to the Oxwagons of the Trek. The movement is based itself on authoritarian nationalist movements in Europe, like the League of National Recovery in the Netherlands and the DVLP in Germany. Especially concerning is their paramilitary wing, the stormtroopers were not afraid of confrontational violence, especially against non-whites and Jews. We'll lose some more stability there. 29% stability is really not where we're wanting this to be. And I'm actually looking at this. I really don't think one research slot is worth it. We're going to want to curtail reactionary activity in the country for now. Upgrade housing conditions. Yeah, you just seem good. So we're going to go for you next. This will slow progress by negative 37%. You know what? Apparently, it's still going even though we don't have enough factories for that. Really? It still goes even though we don't have the factories? I did not know that. You learn something new every day. Apparently, that continues on no matter what. Okay, Chile and Argentina have ended their hostilities. So it looks like Argentina is going to be winning their war down in the south. Because you are a puppet of Argentina, you're a puppet of Argentina, and the Patagonian's Workers' Front absolutely stands no chance at this point. The fact that MacArthur has any territory whatsoever is still very surprising to me. I really would have thought that they would have just bitten the dust a while ago. The SAP Special Branch. So now that you're finished, I'm going to want to send a spy, which will also be ready in 29 days. We're going to send him to Dar es Salaam. Kind of see if we get any information about Germany at all. We only have 10% on their army, which really is not what we want at all. We want much more information when we can actually get it. And what would we want next? You're done in 60 days. You were done in 98 days. And do we have any... You know what? Research. Get that one going. It's actually, 1938 tech is 1938, so that makes a lot of sense for us. How many casualties are there actually in this, Middle African War? 12,000 to 61,000, so really not the casualty numbers that I would like to see. I was really hoping that maybe MittelAfrika would have taken much, much higher casualty rates, which would have been really nice for us. But unfortunately does not seem to be the case. Right now, we're making 12 rifles a day. That's not so bad. How is the construction going, by the way? You'll be finished on the June 27th. So that's still like 6 months from now. I mean, a special project, you're done in 334 days. I didn't know you took an entire year. I mean, stability, construction speed, production efficiency cap, and at the attack and defense on core territory, all those are still pretty good for us. But it's not really where we wanted it to be quite honest. We got 2 more days until our operative is ready. Yeah, Portugal, you're very much dead. Seducer, Safecracker, Seducer, Infiltrator. We are going to send you to the capital of MittelAfrika. See if you can get any information there whatsoever. And now you have annexed Venice as well. So we'll see if you can unite all of Italy before the Wildkrieg actually begins. And Portugal has ended their hostilities. So they kept all of Angola, but they got rid of all of Mozambique. Which is honestly probably the exact worst case scenario for us. I was hoping that they would keep Mozambique, and then Portugal would, or MittelAfrika would annex Angola. That would have been the best case scenario, but that is no longer the case, which is horrible. That's really bad. So, like, we've got to, like, we got to somehow build up a military that can maybe withstand these guys. Head of intelligence. An extra operative slot, we really don't care about that too much. Remove national spirit, reactionary non-cooperation. So you will... Surrender limit goes up, organization, research speed. I mean, it's all pretty good for us. Political power going up really is to be quite honest. Throne's Paramount Chiefs. Non-core manpower plus 2%. I mean, you can just get manpower bonuses, war support and stability, and remove slavery, which seems pretty good. There's also Swaziland, are now cores, more core manpower. Develop steel really isn't that useful, to be quite honest. And Bushland is now a core of our territory as well. I think we just want to join the, maybe the French faction here. The problem is right now is we have so many different little things that we want to do that it's difficult to get all of them done. Because again, we have about a year until the war begins, and we have a year until we can try to get rid of all of these different debuffs, which could be a challenge. We do have 100 command power, and I think we probably want to go for a defensive doctrine on our guys for now. Camouflage expert could actually be probably pretty useful, assuming if MittelAfrika actually has an air force, which they do. So that's something that we do want to keep in mind. CNT is doing alright, I would say. They've at least not gotten themselves too spread out. So what are you guys doing? You are currently getting support technology. Not that meaningful, I would say. I mean, the Reichspact's looking pretty powerful. None of you guys are going to do anything. Maybe the Danish won't join the Reichspact. There's a theoretical chance that they do join up with the Internationale. I don't think I've ever actually seen it happen, but it can. It is a possibility. And Russia as well. We do want Russia putting pressure here. But, like, anything that happens in Europe, the problem with, like, all of this, like, World War II stuff, Second Weltkrieg, is that in our tiny corner of the planet, we are going to be outnumbered basically no matter what. Organization, I think we gotta go for it. For now. Now I'm actually looking at that +1 research slot and being like, oh, that would have been really nice for us to have. Then we also want the advisors. There's so many things that we need. Manpower doesn't matter so much. So what do you give us? You give us monthly population, which doesn't really matter so much. Land doctrine bonuses would be nice. The military construction speed going up would be nice as well. Paratroopers in the French. I mean, a 20%. Oh, that's actually really good. Effective change. Organization plus 20%, 3% recruit population. I mean, I think the French might actually be better for this than the British. When we want to eventually get our third international advisors, when we can get them, then things should be looking a little bit better for us. Okay, so the Busan Treaty, reestablished Joseon Kingdom after its annex in Japan. So Korea has just become not independent, but they are now a satellite of Japan. I did not know that was even a possibility within the game. And Tibet has been annexed. Is there anything we can do with our navy and stuff? I really don't think so. I think we save our political power to get extensive conscription and war economy as soon as the Second Weltkrieg actually begins. But the problem is that we're also going to be fighting the Entente. We're going to be fighting the Entente. We're going to be fighting so many people. Like, almost all of Africa is going to be against us, which has its problems, I would say. Guatemala should win the Liberal Pact. You guys are looking pretty well down here. And my clique has 2 of you guys as puppets. Will you form your own faction or will you just join up with the Qing? I'm not too sure. But I guess we'll see soon enough. Yeah, I just don't think we want to modify the government type at all right now. So after that, we cannot do you because we're not totalists, so that makes sense. To get construction speed, production efficiency cap goes up. After that, I think we want to remove the reactionary non-cooperation. Now we are part of this little faction thingy here. I don't know if that what's that give us? Research bonuses, right? We probably wanted that a while ago then. Could go for some air doctrines. Could go for them better planes, but the planes don't matter so much, really. Improves artillery. I also don't think it's something that we really want. Maybe we'll go for recon company. Or 1939 rifles. Let's get the 1939 rifles, at least for right now. Even if we don't use them right away, it would still be nice to kind of have them in our back pocket in case we want to use them in the future. Both of those seem like they could be good options for us. And you still have 246 days. With 200 political power, I mean, I just don't think we want a second operative. I don't think that actually matters too much. We could get stability up a little bit. 2,000 rifles, we can support the CSA. Do I have 2,000 rifles? No, I'm missing 3,000, so... But what we want, of course, is, hey, more military factories, please. So that we can build as many guns as humanly possible. I'm even thinking that we actually, like, cut down on artillery production. We can throw artillery back in here. I mean, it's going to lose all of its production efficiency, but to get that one extra factory on infantry weapons has to be better for us. I would imagine so, at least. You're expanding artillery power. You're reinforcing the Entente. The problem right now really is that I have... I mean, Guatemala, you are... I mean, it's Nicaragua against the liberals in the north. We'll see how you guys deal with it. The problem right now, though, is that, like, nobody else in Africa can turn syndicalist. Okay, that's not true. Liberia can go syndicalist. So there's 2 options. But Somalia, Ethiopia, Egypt. I guess MittelAfrika, if it does break apart, can also... I guess some of those countries can go syndicalist, I think. But that's really about it. Those are your options. There really isn't too many potential allies in this side of the world. And before this update, there was nobody in Africa that I think could even go syndicalist naturally. Other than Liberia. Yeah, unsurprisingly, Hungary has been destroyed. So Austria is probably going to weaken them a little bit. You guys are fighting your war. Hopefully, Italy unites all of the peninsula before the Second Weltkrieg so they can focus their entire attention on fighting the Austrians. But of course, as of a more recent update, the Austrian faction and the Reichspakt will form one major group. Once the Second Weltkrieg actually begins, which of course might have some problems, as you could imagine. But again, we need to get this to almost be a full 24 stack for us to even really have much of a chance here. I mean, there's not a lot of German troops on our border at the moment. I'm assuming there's probably a decent amount of troops maybe up in near Egypt or against the French Republic. Because, like, an Entente Reichspakt war would be nice for us. I don't think that could really happen. I'm actually even thinking, do we want to, these command garrisons, they're garbage, I would say. But we're going to do something like this, just so we have more troops to actually deploy. And actually, we can only deploy 16 units before we start taking penalties. That'll improve a little bit once we actually go into war economy. And you guys are now the Latvian commune. Okay. So I feel like that does help us out. So after that, you are this popularity, which I really don't care too much about. You are mobilization speed. Stability goes up. Mobilization speed. Attacking defense on core territory is pretty good. The stuff in the bottom. Let's just at least modify low participation a little bit first. And then, because the military purge is also something we probably want to deal with. I don't know how we get rid of military purge. Purge. Okay, we just had to repeal racist reforms. Fair enough. So we'll do that afterwards. So we don't want, like, what are these penalties right now? Training, defense is bad, organization's horrible, training time is bad, land doctrine stuff. Got a lot of penalties there, which we want to resolve at some point in the future. We should still be fine for the war. I'm hoping. But for right now, I think it's going to be a good time for me to end this episode. So thanks very much for watching. My name is Ansem. If you enjoyed, put a thumbs up. Not enjoyed, click thumbs down. You want to see me, subscribe, and goodbye.